Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a special edition of the DDP Entertainment Report. Journos, reporters, journalists, writers, correspondents, commentators, hacks, which is viewed as a derogatory, columnists, contributors, scribes, pressmen, news hounds, newspaperman, newspaperwoman, and now newspaper gender choosing. One thing for sure, whatever term you wish to describe these fine thinkers, they are a breed of their own. And privileged, perhaps, to think that I fit among them. But when growing up, the one thing my mother and I had in common was watching 60 Minutes, W5, and Living It Up, of which my mentor and good friend Phil Pendry worked for all three of these programs in a direct or indirect way. So it was to no surprise to see Phil Pendry, video journalist, cinematographer, and award-winning documentary filmmaker, to be asked to speak at Morley Safer's memorial at CBS Studios in New York. But more important, ladies and gentlemen, Morley Safer dearly inspired us all, and we felt privileged now to remember those moments when his words gave us clarity. Here is Phil Pendry's speech addressing the 400 crowd at the Lincoln Center in remembrance of Morley Safer, a great journalist.
Morley was born in Toronto. I was born in London, England, but we were brought together by the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation in the early 50s. Morley as a correspondent, and me again as his first cameraman. Later on, I went to work with maybe 50 or 60 other correspondents, but there was no one like Morley. He was one of a kind and very respected to this day in Canada. As a matter of fact, last night I got a letter from the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, and he sent me this by fax. It was a great honour that I welcome you to the celebration of Morley Safer. Born in Canada, Morley Safer dedicated his career to covering the news around the world, unbound by geographical borders. As a reporter on the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, in the 50s and 60s, Mr. Safer blazed the path for TV reporters. At the time, a new medium for news, and he moved on to gain fame on different networks. Canadians across our country continue to follow his world-class journalism as a reporter in England and on 60 Minutes. Today, we gather to remember and honour the life of Morley Safer, one of television's greatest reporters. His legacy as a journalist, a role model, and a mentor will ensure his legacy for generations to come. I know that thousands of dedicated viewers around the world will join us in a celebration of his distinguished career, Life of Morley Safer, signed Justin Trudeau. Morley and I, together, we covered difficult assignments in Europe and the Middle East and North Africa. But Morley never once lost his cool. He was quick thinking, got us through some really tough situations. He was a gentleman and a gentleman. But covering Northern Ireland was, to say the least, a bizarre experience. Morley dubbed the Troubles in Northern Ireland as a theatre of the absurd, for good reasons. The hours between 6 and 7 o'clock in the evening were usually a quiet one, as the Protestant and Catholic rioters were at home watching themselves on the news. Then they returned to the streets, hoping to get themselves on the 11 o'clock. One evening, we took our cameras to the Shanklin, that's the Protestant area of Belfast. We were soon stopped by a group of men and asked, "Who are you working for?" The first question that Morley answered was the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. They then said, "Are you Protestant or Catholic?" Morley looked at them and said, "Neither, I'm Jewish." After a short pause, no more difficult questions, they said, "Are you Jewish, Catholic, or Protestant?" Morley never missed a beat. He said, "I'm agnostic Jewish." Being Irish, they didn't understand that, but never mind. There were no more questions. Morley left to join the CBC, to join CBS. Actually, he did ask me to join him. That was the worst mistake I ever made. I went to Japan instead. But Morley lifted 60 Minutes to another level with his interviews. Why was he such a good interviewer? Morley's greatest strength and the secret of his success was his capacity for empathy. The people he interviewed always trusted him, and the viewers believed him. I miss him. We all do. Thank you.